There is no government in the history of this country that has been as corrupt as Buhari's government. Oshiomhole came in as an undertaker in APC. By bringing Oshiomhole, the factional chairman of APC, as a strategist for their election, shows manifestly that they had no intent of fighting corruption.
So you're not giving us any specifics on what he's going to do?
Specific in respect of what?
Conversations, negotiations, increase of pay,
So
give them what they ask for. Quite recently, you accused the government of setting up polling stations in Niger and Chad to get, citizens of that country to vote for the APC.
The People's Democratic Party never going to accept that.
The PDP is hoping to take back power after 16 years in 2019. Now, there are allegations that the PDP, having run the country for 16 years, was fraught with corruption, mismanagement of government funds, basically bad governance. And these allegations are not just coming from the opposition, but from so many quarters in this country. So with that history, with that, out there, how does the PDP plan to win the elections in 2019?
It is not correct to say that the 16 years of PDP governance in Nigeria was fraught just with corruption, mismanagement. Those are the allegations of the opposition, of the ruling government, that were mistakenly allowed to come and take over the reign of governance. 16 years of PDP has great achievements. First, we were able to democratize the life of Nigerians. We are coming from a situation of a military rule when life was without freedoms. And PDP came and chased out the military from the polity and brought democracy, which has become a way of life for all our people, irrespective of races. I think that is a milestone. And we moved from there and created institutions that have strengthened democracy. We work perfectly with the National Assembly. That has encouraged democracy. And we moved from there and made life better for Nigerians. We kept prices at minimal low level. We ensured that education had standards. We ensured that the living condition for the people were good. We ensured an economy that was robust and first in Africa. Our FDI was doing perfectly well.
So are you saying there was no corruption?
There were cases of allegations of malfeasance on certain individuals in our party. It is not enough to wholesomely describe the 16 years as years of corruption. This is not enough. For instance, today, Nigerians, no matter how low and no matter how high, can communicate with each other. The PDP government introduced that. And even those who are talking about corruption concerning PDP are also quick to forget that all institutions that are used to fight corruption today were established by the People's Democratic Party. And the government on the platform of the PDP did not stop at just establishing institutions of fighting corruption. We went ahead, our government went ahead, and ensured that if you are caught with any malfeasance bordering on corruption, you were arrested, you were interrogated. If there is a need for trial, you were tried.
Give me an example of one of those people the PDP did that to, prosecuted based on corruption.
I will choose to call offices. I will not call names. Governors were arrested, investigated, and put on trial. The Senate President was investigated. Ministers were arrested, investigated, and put on trial. Fighting corruption in the PDP government had no limit. But what have we witnessed in the last 3.5 years of this government? corruption under the Buhari presidency as official cover. If you're in the government, and no matter how much you are alleged to have stolen from the public purse, you just get a pat at the back.
So you're saying
for instance,
the fight against corruption is against the opposition, really is a tool to oppress the opposition.
Nigerians are aware that the opposition that the Buhari presidency is fighting is intimidating and harassing today's opposition, which was the ruling party before. And examples abound wherever you turn to. But the most painful, the agonizing aspect of it is the fact that people who have been alleged for corruption, who are being tried even by government on the platform of our own party, today have been attracted by a government that came to power on the promise to fight corruption. So what explanation do you provide for that? And today they talk about corruption concerning PDP. The PDP you are talking about made sure that its own members of its own political family who were involved in malfeasances bordering on corruption were tried. But here you are, members of your own political family, like Babachi Lawal, the former secretary of the government of the Federation, like your own chief of staff who was alleged to have collected bribe from the telecommunication agency, were uninvestigated. And how do you explain that? How would you explain that? But you sit down and you carry a microphone and you go around the world and say, oh, the government before you was corrupt. There is no government in the history of this country that has been as corrupt as Buhari's government. None. How do you imagine?
Interesting. Okay, let's move the conversation a little bit. You know, Oshiomhole has been in the news over and over again. He's the national chairman of the APC, and a lot of people say he's a very, very strong strategist, and he's an instrument for the APC in their possibility or hope to win the 2019 elections. Do you worry about Oshiomhole?
Why should PDP be worried about Oshiomhole? Oshiomhole came in as an undertaker in the APC. The moment he came into office, we told APC, as in PDP, we told them that we welcome Oshiomhole, but that they have brought an undertaker to bury their political party. And today, governors of APC have come out clearly to justify our position. So aspirants on the platform of the APC have come out to justify our disposition.
Example of those aspirants.
You need to go far. Are you not aware of what Aisha Buhari said when her brother lost the primary in Adamawa? Or you want us to continue to justify it? As a matter of fact, by bringing Oshiomhole, the factional chairman of APC, as a strategist for the election, shows manifestly that they had no intent of fighting corruption. As you speak, Pastor Uche from Edo State is in the Federal High Court in Abuja here, seeking an order of mandamus to force INEC, to compel INEC to investigate Oshiomhole for corruption.
Now, you know, some people will say that the PDP is running a very aggressive campaign to win the 2019 elections. Basically, I could use the word accusatory campaign. It's like a lot of the press releases coming from your office are more of accusing the government of this, that. Quite recently, you accused the government of setting up polling stations in Niger and Chad to get, you know, citizens of that country to vote for the APC. Now, some would say, I mean, it's really a thing of mudslinging and keep slinging until you find what sticks.
I don't agree about mudslinging. And I must say this emphatically too, that we are showcasing the failures of APC. And the referendum for the 2019 election is about the promises which APC made to Nigerians in 2014 and 2015. And the woeful failures of those promises. This election is about a referendum. It's about what did you tell Nigerians we are going to do? On what account did Nigerians vote for you? Have you fulfilled those promises? And that's what the People's Democratic Party is doing. And interestingly, you raised the issue
Yes, I
of
wanted
the creation
yes.
of
polling units in Chad and Niger. Yes.
We didn't raise it. Media report said the chairman of INEC, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, said that they will set up polling units for IDPs
yes.
in Niger and Chad
to allow them to vote.
Yes. And you want us to keep quiet?
You don't
believe it's an aberration of our law as a people. It's an aberration of all the electoral laws that guide our election. The National Assembly has not passed a bill that will allow people in diaspora to vote. Diaspora voting is strange to our electoral laws. And if the INEC chairman assumed the position of the National Assembly and claimed the responsibility of a president who is supposed to assent to a bill and said that he's creating polling units in a foreign nation, it is our duty and our responsibility as a patriotic citizen, both in our party and in the leadership of our party, to point it out clearly and say that you have no power to do this. Because that is a plot to rig. In April this year, we had alleged that there is a plot within the INEC to create 30,000 polling units outside the delineated polling units known to the law, where they want to rig elections from. We have an interest in the 2019 election. As a party, we have a candidate, we are participating in the election. You want us to sit akimbo and allow ourselves to be rigged out? Never. The People's Democratic Party is never going to accept that. As a matter of fact, the PDP is going ahead to challenge INEC that any polling unit that is not delineated before now, that are unknown, you cannot, on account of IDPs, begin to delineate polling units. It's as like saying that, oh, okay, I am sick, for instance, I'm in the hospital, or I am in prison. Then you are creating a separate polling unit for me outside the residence of where I live. So there is a process for transfer of voting rights. So if there are people who are registered in a particular area and they, on account of displacement or traveling or relocation, they need to vote in their new areas, they are expected to transfer their voters card to those places. So what is the need for the creation of separate polling units, even for the purposes of rigging? This election in 2019, PDP will not allow any form of rigging. We believe in the People's Democratic Party that at the end of it all, majority of the parties are going to work with the PDP to oust the incompetent administration of President Muhammadu Buhari. That is a fact. Every Nigerian, if you put together 10 Nigerians today, 8 of them is going to tell you that they made a mistake in 2015 voting for President Muhammadu Buhari. Whether APC or President Muhammadu Buhari handlers want to agree with this or not, it is their cup of tea, it is their problem. But this is the reality on the ground. A majority of the people who claim to have made a mistake in 2015 are prepared and ready to vote for the People's Democratic Party and our candidates.
Don't you think that some of these people who are not comfortable with what is going on right now with this administration are probably just choosing Atiku because they feel that's what has been brought before them, that they are not getting, enough array of candidates to choose from?
That is not correct. Our candidate, Atiku Abubakar, is a Democrat. Our candidate, Atiku Abubakar, has demonstrated capacity, and he has shown to Nigerians that he can make things a lot different from what we are experiencing today. And that's why Nigerians are rallying with him. And the People's Democratic Party, the platform on which he is running, has become rebranded, has become refocused, has become repositioned to take the challenges of the 21st century. So, and that's where we are in our nation today.
It's good you brought some of the aspects of, what you're running on. Quite recently, Atiku Abubakar raised worries about the way ASU's lingering strike has been unresolved, and so many strikes. But ASU, he pointed out mostly. How does he plan to handle the case of ASU strike? Because a lot of young people are at home, and some even worry they may be used as political talks if this is not settled. So how does he plan to handle ASU strike and many other strikes? Because doctors will go on strike, different groups will go on strike. How does he plan to handle that when he becomes president, or if he becomes president?
As you know, our candidate, Atiku Abubakar, whom majority of Nigerians are rallying today as their next president, owns and runs a university considered as very successful and has produced first-class graduates. He understands the economy. He was formerly, as vice president, the chairman of National Economic Council. He has engaged all forms of unions as the vice president of Nigeria. I will never had the type of crisis that we're having in the labor today when he was vice president. Yes, there were disagreements. Yes, there were concerns, but they were quickly named. You know why? Because he had the space and the time and the experience to manage such labor issues. And when he comes into office as the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, inshallah, effective May 2019, he's going to bring to bear the experiences of the past.
So you're not giving us any specifics on what he's going to do?
Specific in respect of what?
Conversations, negotiations, increase of pay,
You cannot do all that if you don't have the experiences that are required. I have told you that he has been engaging in negotiation with labor unions as vice president. I have told you that he has brought his experience to bear in managing union issues. I have also said that as a proprietor of a university, he has run university successfully. And as such, he is going to engage with unions where there are issues. And definitely there will continue to be issues. But experience counts in matters like this. And as such, Atiku Abubakar has got the experience to govern this nation. And as I said, he was chairman of Economic Council in the past.
I see. Now, before we round things up, there are some chatter in some quarters that there is tension between Senate President Bukola Saraki and Atiku Abubakar. How true is that?
That there's some what?
Chatter. I mean, there's issues. There are people who have insinuated that there's tension between both men.
No, that's not correct. That's not correct. Totally, absolutely incorrect. This is PDP. These are campaign headquarters. The office of DG is here. The candidate has an office here. And we have worked. I'm in the campaign. We have traveled. We have worked. We are campaigning around the nation. And there is not the littlest pointer to issue of disagreement between our candidate and the DG of our campaign. It's not even possible. But don't listen too much to APC. They have seen that they have come to the end of their games. They have seen that Nigerians are prepared, more than prepared, to vote them out in 2019. So they are the one creating all manner and all forms of disinformation here and there. But Nigerians are resolute. Nigerians have taken a decision to do away with this hunger, with this starvation, with this killing, with this divisiveness, with this bloodletting. And they are prepared to start their life all the way. Atiku, as far as Nigerians are concerned, he's got the experience in governance, and experience counts in whatever you want to do. He understands the nuances of our nation. He is accepted in the northwest, in the northeast, in the south-south, in the southeast, in north-central, and the southwest. He is known as a Democrat, and is that Nigerian who can take our nation out of our current despondency.